Hello, thank you for tuning in to TGM Television and welcome to Maximize Your Life with Pastor Marcus. It is good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight we have a really good lesson. I do not plan to take up a lot of your time, but here's just a simple principle, something to get us rolling, get us closer in personal fellowship and relationship with God. The lesson is coming from Isaiah chapter 6. I'm going to read it. Is everybody there? Thank you for tuning in. Thank my TGM Bible study crew for coming out tonight. I definitely intend to let God speak. If there is something that you want to add or something that really resonates with you, leave your comments below. I do look at those and I will respond. If there's a lesson or a subject that you want to add or you want to, you want to hear about, put it on there. I do not mind coming back and doing touch-ups. So with that, we're going to Isaiah chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse number 1. I really don't want to read all the verses because I want to get to just one particular one, but I'm going to just take the whole thing as a whole, okay? Isaiah chapter 6. My Bible reads a little bit different. I'm going to start at verse 1. In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord sitting on the throne. He was high and exalted, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Seraphim stood above him, each having 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one called out to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the foundations of the threshold of the temple trembled at the voice of him who called out while the temple was filling with smoke. Here's Isaiah's response. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone. I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a burning coal in his hand, which he had taken from the altar with tongues. He takes it, he touched my mouth with it, and said, Behold, this has touched your lips, and your iniquity is taken away, and your sin is forgiven. And the topic of tonight's lesson is, I want you to say this after me, say, I want to be better. All right, say this after me, say, God, make me better. All right, there we go. That's what we're dealing with tonight. That's what we're talking about tonight. Introspection. Don't just do better, be better. Don't just want to do better, want to be better. All right, God, make me better. And so I'm going to start. And like I said, it's not supposed to be a long lesson tonight. But I'm going to start talking about having a personal encounter with God. Having a personal encounter with God. I think one of the most important experiences in life is having that personal encounter with God. All right. And this is not just a one-time thing. This is Isaiah's first time having his personal encounter. But having a personal encounter with God is not just a one-time thing. I think it's probably the most important experience that we can have in our lives, having a personal encounter with God, taking out that time to just pray, taking out that time to just reflect, to read a scripture, give God that 2 seconds of brain time. You know what we said, what we do in the mornings is we reconnect with our goals. We pray, maybe read the scripture. It's giving God that time, that 5 seconds of brain time. And what it does, when you read the scripture, when you read your scriptures in the morning, you read your scripture, whatever it is, and then you say to yourself, what could this be saying to me? What could this be saying in general? Then what could this be saying to me? You're giving God an opportunity to talk to you, to speak to you. It's silencing the world out and giving you and God your own personal time. Having a personal encounter with God. First thing it does is it gives us a God revelation so that we understand him better. How many of you can honestly say you understand God's methods in your life? And I want you to be honest. Can you say that? How many of us can actually say we understand God's methods in our life? Most of us don't, right? Okay, and so here's the understanding. The understanding is that if you was to ask me, yes, but naturally people say, well, you pastor, you leader, you minister Marcus, you're supposed to know. Of course I'm supposed to know, but how would I know what God is specifically saying to you on Monday if I'm not with you on Monday. You see what I'm saying? My thing is, God is going to speak through me to you, but what if God wanted you to do something different or go a different way on Monday morning when you're not around me? How then would he get you to see or do that? You see what I'm saying? And this is the thing. I want us to get out of the mindset that God is just for church. God wants to steer and direct your life. The only way that he can do that is if you give him that time. The personal encounter, I'm starting there, the personal encounter, because Isaiah sees the Lord. Isaiah sees the Lord. And I think we take for granted so much, so many of the times, the time that it takes just to simply see and try to at least get some type of understanding of our God. Here's the thing. How in the world could you consider yourself to be in a relationship with somebody that you never see, that you never make time to talk to, that you never allow time to speak to you? Here's the understanding. God is so much God. He's not just God to tell you this or to tell you that I'm God and worship me. No, sometimes he wants you to understand, go to the left, go to the right. You know when he is moving, and you know when he is moving you. How many of you know the difference when God is moving and when God is trying to move you? When he's moving, that's when it's time to get in his flow. When he is moving you, that's him telling you where to go. I like the way that's put in my notes. I like the way that's put in my notes. God be tripping me out sometimes. When he's moving, get in his flow. When he's moving you, he's telling me where to go. But how many of us know when is the time to move now? Based on God's unction or his push or his, you look at your life and you be able to tell, wait a minute, when you do a reevaluation, maybe God is trying to say this. How many of us really know that? We don't. And the reason why we don't is because we do what Samuel did. And I'm jumping all the way, but the understanding is that personal close encounter with God. Samuel, when he hears the voice of God, what do he do? He jumps up and starts running. And Eli tells him, go back to the place that you heard the voice. Then he hears it again and he jumps up and starts running. Then Eli says, go back to the place where you heard the voice. Why do you need to go back to the place to hear your voice? Because when you go back to that place, you have to wait and listen for instruction. The instruction is what guides my life. The instruction is what leads me to opportunity. The instruction is what leads me to my purpose, my fulfillment. My instruction is what guides my mind for the day. You understand what I'm saying? And so I don't want us to take for granted that personal time, that personal encounter. Sometimes we overlook the impact that God has on a life, and we don't allow him that opportunity. Maybe, and you know what I like to say, like maybe that's the thing that's missing in your life. How many of us sometimes feel unfulfilled in the things that we do? It was a long time that I woke up and went to work, but I was not fulfilled. I went to church, I was not fulfilled. And I was wondering, what is missing? It seemed like it's something, everything is going okay, but something is missing. I think what I was missing was the fulfillment of knowing that I was doing the right thing that I was supposed to do at the right time. I was missing that personal encounter time with God. See, the void that sometimes we feel is that time that we have missed with God, and we don't recognize it because nobody's ever taught us to pay attention or be sensitive to that. But the void is there to send you searching for something, and most of us, we try to fill the void with other things, when really that may just be God. And the fact that we don't understand how God moves and motivates us, we miss it. And we go all this time with having voids in our life, not understanding that God don't want 2 hours. Maybe he just wants 5 minutes just so he can register to your mind. Have you ever done this? Have you ever woke up in the morning, heard a song, and then it's playing in your head the rest of the day? You know what? It resonates, right? Sometimes we give our minds to things too readily, too early in the morning. And then we got junk playing in the back of our minds the whole rest of the day. Everybody, because you know, I wake up and just have a song in my head like, why is this song? And I be singing it the whole day. But imagine if you was to give God that 2 seconds and God say something to you like, keep believing at 6 o'clock in the morning. He say something crazy, you like, keep believing. And then you get to work and things start looking crazy. And then you remember all of a sudden something that God told you at 6 in the morning, keep believing. Or he tell you something crazy, turn left. At 6 o'clock in the morning, like, why am I hearing this? Go left, until you get somewhere and it's a part of your day and you remember exactly what it is that you heard that morning, and it all of a sudden makes sense. You see what I'm saying? And it's the thing, that personal encounter with God is there just to do that. All right. So here's my question to us, and you can write this down. When is the last time I had a personal encounter with God? And this is not for me. This is for you. Put it in your notes. When is the last time I had a personal encounter with God? I don't know. I can't say. But if you haven't, if you can't remember the last time, it's probably time for you to reschedule your appointment. It's probably time for you to reschedule your appointment. We always make sure we take our time to go to the doctor to get our checkup. We always take that 2 seconds to check our bank accounts. We check up on the things that we really care about, but we don't make sure that we are connected when we need to be connected. Maybe that's why you're missing opportunity. Maybe that's the void that you've been missing. Maybe that's the key that you've been missing, that's going to unlock the potential of your life. But we overlook that. And so put it in your notes. When is the last time that you had a personal encounter with God? All right. Seeing God does not make you see others, but seeing God makes you see who? All right. And I want us to get this, because we confuse having a religious experience with having a God experience. Now, I want you to catch it now, because religion is all outwardly, right? Religion can look at you and say, you are not following the rules. You are not dressed the right way. You are not talking the right way. Religion will judge you based on an outer appearance. So when you have a religious experience, it's easier for you to be judgmental. It's easy for you to look at somebody and say what they're not doing or where they're not in God. But when you understand a God experience does not look on the outside, but a God experience looks on the inside. When I have a God experience, I'm not looking to judge other people, because I understand your outside can look however your outside want to look, but the work of God starts where? So then it helps me to be mindful not to be judgmental of other people. Why? Not because I've had a religious encounter, but I've had a God encounter. And it's such a difference when you have a God encounter versus a religious encounter. When you understand that God works on the inside, it helps you to be mindful of the way you deal with people, other people. You never know where somebody else is in their walk. And religion will try to get you to tell and dictate, hey, you know what? I can tell where you are. Look at how you dress. I can tell how close you are to God. Look at the way you look, or look at where you at. When really God could be really doing the work on the inside of the individual. A God experience does not make you see nobody else, but a God experience makes you see yourself. A God experience simultaneously allows me to see God, and it simultaneously allows me to see myself. I think the first thing that we got to understand is that if God is going to do something great in your life, it's going to happen through you. That means we have to believe in God. We have to believe in ourselves. The first thing to getting where it is that you need to be is understanding where you got to go, destination, but then is also understanding placement and point where you are right now. The only way God can do that is he has to show himself to you. In a revelatory experience, you see God, but then you see you. And I want us to catch what Isaiah says. He says, I am a man of unclean lips. He didn't say, I have unclean lips. You see the difference? I'm going to say it again. He does not say, I have unclean lips. He says, I am a man of unclean lips. In other words, it goes beyond action to being. It goes beyond what I do to who I am. I'm going to say it this way. There are some people who are just mean, nasty, manipulative people, right? That's just who they are. Now, they can do something nice for a manipulative purpose. The action doesn't change who the person is. You're catching it? The action, you can take a devil that'll do something nice, but for an evil purpose, but it will never change what or who he is, right? And here's the thing, just because you tell a lie, that don't make you a liar. You may make a mistake, right? You may cheat, but that doesn't make you a cheater. Some people may disagree with me on that. I'm trying to get us to see the difference between actions and being. He says to God, it's not that I have a bad action. He says, I am not the best version of me. Who are you? This is a good question. Because a lot of times we get distracted on the what. We get distracted on the title. The Pastor Marcus Stewart. What am I? When we don't pay attention to the who am I, we don't pay attention to being. Right. It looks beyond the action and it looks to the being. He says to God, God, I am not the best version of me. I want you to ask yourself this question, and you can write this down in your notes. Am I the best version of myself? If God was to see me right now, if I was to see God, what would I see in me? What do I see in me? Can we look at ourselves for who we really are before we dress ourselves up? Here's my question: who are you? Who are you? This is such a question, because when you start to examine, you can look and overlook so many of the things that you do and so many of the things that you say and so many of the ways that you are, because you feel like you're such a good person. But here's the truth. The truth is, when I ask the question to Marcus, who am I? Not what I do, but who am I? Before I put my shirt on, before I put my suit on, before I put it, who am I? When I look, I ask people the question, who are you? Many respond with the kind of jobs they have. They respond with the kind of job they want to have, what they want to do. Who are you? I work here, or I do this, or I do this. No, not what do you do, but who are you? I want you to get it. It moves from action to being. What makes you who you are? Characteristics. I want you to get it. Characteristics. Identity doesn't come from what you do, but it comes from who you are. And the who you are is defined by your character, your characteristics. I ask myself, what characteristics make me a good person? Ask yourself this question: what characteristics make me a good person? I knew who I wanted to be, but I never paid attention to who I really was down on the inside. And the truth be told, when I saw Marcus for who Marcus really was, Marcus wasn't who Marcus wanted to be. Marcus was not who Marcus wanted to be. See, sometimes we want to be such and such. We hold this idea of ourselves, of who we really are. But when Isaiah, and I love the lesson, because it's kind of vague, but at the same time, it really spoke to me, because a lot of times what we do is we hold ourselves out here. I knew who I wanted to be, and I felt like I was being that person until I did what I call introspection. And I looked at some of the things that I had to see Marcus for who Marcus really was. And I had to realize I was not the best version of myself. Ask yourself this question: am I the best version of myself? At 32 years old, am I the best version of myself? Am I even concerned with being a better version? See, and here's the lesson tonight. Here's the lesson. The lesson is that many of us, we all want to do better in life, but nobody is focused on being better in life. You see, it's a difference. It's a difference. To do better is to make more money, to live in a better house, to drive a better car. We all can do better, but who's focused on being better? Isaiah said, I am a man of unclean. I am God. I am not who I need to be. I am not who I need to be. I am not the who that I need to be. In seeing God, I begin to see myself for all that I was and all that I was not. It was painfully clear that I needed to be something different. Here's the thing. I want us to put this in our notes too. Stop focus on doing and start focus on being. Stop focus on doing and start focus on being. The work of God changes what I do by changing who I am. I want us to understand the work of God is, simply put, and I'm gonna marketize this for you YouTube watchers and for you guys that's watching me, I'm gonna marketize this. Christianity, God is here to make you a better person. from the core. I want us to get that. I want us to get that. I want us to get that. This is not the religion that you can hold out. Oh, because I gave $1 to the man standing on the side of the road. Oh, because I came to church. Oh, because I want us to get this. Christianity is not what you do at church. It's who you are when you leave church. And this is the difference. The difference is that we need to stop focusing on doing and start focusing on being and becoming. I always tell my kids this all the time. I say this, son, feed your mind. Feed your mind. You never know who you're going to grow up to be. You never know who you're going to grow up to become. And the thing is, the more you feed your mind positivity, it's a better chance that you grow up to be a positive person. The more you feed yourself good, it's a better chance you grow up to be a good person. See, we think that just because we do things that are good, that makes us good as people. But no, the work of God is to make us better people. If you look at the characteristics of the fruit of the Spirit, it does not speak about actions, but it speaks about characteristics. Love, joy, peaceful, temperance, long suffering. These are actions, but they come from characteristics. God wants to change what I do by changing who I am. Say that after me. Say, God wants to change what I do by changing who I am. Here's the thing. I got a comment. All right. Let's hear it. That's right. I like that. I like that. I like that. Being a Christian isn't something you do at church. It's something you be when you leave church. It's something you become characteristically. Meeting God, and I want us to get this. Meeting God made me want to be better, not just do better. It made me want to be better. I aspired to be the best version of myself. I want us to understand this ministry, this church is about being better people. It's about being better people. It's about being better people. Meeting God made me want to be better, not just do better. Everybody wants to do better in life, but nobody is trying to be better. Thank you. And here's the catch to that. Life becomes better as you become better. I pray that this what I pray that you prosper as your soul prospers. The better you get, the better your life get. We are trying to do better without being better, and we don't understand where's the rift, where's the shift. The thing is if you start to focus on being a better person, you change the true north of your life. I want us to get that because so many times we miss the work of God. The work of God is to make you the best version of yourself. The best version of yourself. And now we got to move. We had 23 minutes, and it's supposed to be a quick lesson. How does God respond to Isaiah's introspection? I want us to understand something about the God that we serve. We have been trained to believe that God is something that he is not. God is not the kind of being that's waiting for you to sin so he can punish you. God is not the kind of being that has his elbow on your neck waiting on you to mess up. That is not the kind of God we serve. But the kind of God we serve is a loving and forgiving God. And I want us to get this, that God is not to be taken lightly. However, for Isaiah's being honest with God, God turns around and he cleanses him and he doesn't condemn him. I want us to understand something. Church is not about condemnation. Church is not. If God wanted to kill you for something that you did that wasn't right, we would all be dead already. But the kind of God that we serve, he is not the kind of God like that. God forgives. What he does, he doesn't condemn, he cleanses. There are things in your life that only God is going to have to help you to overcome. What does God do? Isaiah says, God, I'm not the best version of myself. And God immediately goes to help him. I want us to understand something. See, what what you do on your daily routine when you give God that time and you're open and you having that personal encounter, that personal closeness, that time with God, and you open up and you allow him to come in and you say, God, I am not the best version of myself. God does not ask Isaiah. He immediately allows the angel to move to get him the help that he needs. See, so many times we spend our time running away from God with our sin, with our issues, with who we really are. Don't you know God know you were selfish? Don't you know God knew you was mean? God knew you had an attitude problem. You running away from God. God knew you was going to have sex. God knew you was going to do all this crazy stuff, get drunk, falling all over, going crazy, talking to people. He knew you was going to do it. So you trying to run away from him. You don't understand the help you need is running to him. Isaiah says, I'm not the best version of me. I think the time has to come for all of us to see ourselves in God's mirror and say to God, God, you know what? I'm not the best version of myself. And be ready, be willing and ready to start the process, of becoming a better person, to becoming the better you. Uh, uh, um, God doesn't punish us. God doesn't punish him. God doesn't kill him. He cleanses him. Why does he cleanse him? And I want us all to get this because tonight we're talking about being better. I want to be better. I want to be better. I want to be better. What God does is he cleanses him. He helps him to get it right. Why? Why? I want to minister to us in here tonight. I want to minister to us. Why does God not condemn him? Why does God not kill him? Why does God move to cleanse him? Because there was a purpose for Isaiah's life. I want you to understand something about the God that we serve. God knows you got issues. He knows you're not the best version of yourself, but he wants you to be the best version of yourself. Why? Because there is a purpose for your life. I want you to get that in your head. I need to be better for my purpose. The number one thing that this ministry has done for me is it has made me be a better person. It made me be a better person, not because I have to aspire to something greater. I have to aspire to something greater. Why? Because where I'm going, I can't be this version of myself. God will give you the help you need, but here's the thing: you ready for your purpose. You ready? You think you're ready for your purpose, but you're really not. You're really not. You're ready for processing because there's some things in you that God got to process out because he wants us to be what? Better people. He wants us to be better people. So now he got to take you. He got to send you through the fire. He got to do some things. He got to melt some things off you and rearrange some things to make you the best version of yourself so that when he puts you where you're supposed to be in your purpose, you'll be ready to handle it. You see what I'm saying? And here's the thing. I want us to get this. Isaiah is cleansed because God has a greater purpose for his life. How many of you believe that God has a greater purpose for your life? The very next text after that, it says, who will go for us? Now here's the thing. When you start talking about being a better person, now you're starting to tap into purpose and fulfilling. And what is my life designed to do? You start finding your why. God immediately shifts from cleansing to purpose. And this is why it's so important for us to not just do better, but to be better. Because when I be better, when I become who God has made me to be. When he first saw Gideon, he says to Gideon, you a mighty man of valor. Gideon was the weakest one in his clan. He had lost all his battles up until that point, but God did not see him for who or what he was. God saw him for who he was going to make him to be. And this is what I want us to take away from this lesson tonight. We're not here to just do better. We are here to be better. We are here to be the best version of ourselves. You find fulfillment when you find your purpose. You find your purpose when you understand that God has to make me better. So with that, it's 29 minutes and 7 seconds, and that is the gist of the lesson. If something I said tonight really resonated with you, please leave your comments below. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @the_God movement. Please share our lessons. We have a whole lot more. Check out our daily motivation on YouTube. We post videos. Follow me, Minister Marcus, on Instagram at _Minister Marcus for personal quotes, for inspirational quotes, motivational quotes. Be on the lookout this year. We are coming. We are coming. All right. So with that, thank you, my TGM family. We're gonna go offline and take some questions. But if you have questions, leave your comments below. If you have questions, leave your comments in the notes below. God bless you. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Thank you guys for watching.